And now, Effective Communication with Phil Zeller, CEO, Dale Carnegie, Southwest Michigan.
So you want to improve your communication skills. I've shared with you before on this show that the number one area of lost revenue in American business is poor communication. The number one result of relationships falling apart, breaking up, marriages ending, poor communication. Communication is going to nip you in the bud if you don't get better at it. And the challenge is with communication, a lot of us were not comm majors. That would be communication majors in college. Fortunately for me, I did take a lot of courses and actually ended up with a dual degree in communication and advertising in the School of Comm Arts. And interestingly enough, in communication, you can get a whole education in communication. And you can really learn the theory of communication. And yet you can break the things that you're supposed to do every single day in communication, and it happens all day long. And even if we think we're experts in communication, we constantly have faux pas and we make mistakes. Well, we're only human beings, right? And we need to accept that. Big thing for you. I got a challenge for you today, though. I got a challenge for you today. I want you to take a look at your last couple of emails, the emails that you sent out, the ones where you had to say something to somebody. Or take a look at the last few social media posts you put out there on social media, whatever platform you used. And ask yourself this question when you look at it. How many eyes, the I, of course, the word I, how many eyes do you see in your communication? I think this, I think that, I saw this, I saw that, I believe this, I believe that, I want this, I want that. Count the eyes. Count the eyes in the last written communication you have. And when you count them up, ask yourself, are there a lot? Recently, I got an email from a friend of mine, and he was sharing with me, hey, Phil, I would really like to be mentored. I'd really like you to help me. I'd really like to do this. I really want this. I really want that. I really want to do this, and I'm really thinking I can do this, and I think I can do that. And it was I all the way through. So my response to him sending back to his email was I sent him back an email and said, fantastic. Let's begin by removing the I's in this email and try again. Now, why would I do that? See, I just used the word I. Why would we do that? Why should you do that? I like we better. Let's go with we, all right? Why we should remove the I's in our communication? Because we're being more inclusive. When we talk about what we can do or what we can accomplish, the old saying goes, there's no I in team, right? It's about we, the team. So when we focus on our communication, we focus on making sure that we're removing the I's. What we're doing is we're making sure that our listener, the person reading the email or the post, actually looks at it and says, hey, I'm included here. It's not just this person throwing their opinion at me or shoving it down my throat. No, it's actually we're in something together. So when you look at your next social media post and you're writing it or your next email, go ahead and write it. And when you get done, this is something that I like to do, is I like to go through and after I'm done, remove as many of the I's that I can. Now, mind you, there are sometimes you will use the word I. I use the word I sometimes. The goal is to minimize the time that you're using that, as well as in your documented post or your emails. When you're done, remove as many as you can. And of course, yes, some are going to have to stay in there. And that goes out to my English teachers, right? Yes, some of the I's have to stay in there. Absolutely. And they make sense. But the reality is in the field of communication, we're trying to get people to communicate with us, which means we communicating together. So when you think about this information you present, I really want you to ask yourself this question. And I say, I really want to. We want to ask ourselves. See, I'm going to self-correct. And I'll self-correct simply for the purposes how we can change the way we talk. We want people to buy into our thoughts and ideas. We want people to see themselves in our communication. We want people to come together to produce results. You notice the word we kind of takes precedence here. And when we look at the word we, it makes it more inclusive. A lot of us are working on inclusivity in our organizations, and it begins with how do we communicate? How do we say we instead of me or I? And when you do this, what you're going to start to see is that people are going to say, yeah, I'm part of this. I'm part of this with you. We're going to build that inclusive culture in which everybody has a voice because we communicate as such. Now go make it happen and get that inclusivity rolling in your life.